view the stream. Okay. We've got that. And we've got Rumble. We're live on Rumble as well. Alright, I'm going to confirm everything here. Bear with me, everyone. It's not showing me going live on Rumble. That's a problem. I'm going to be live on Rumble when I'm not live on Rumble. Okay. 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 Alright, stop doing that.
Let this soft mineral
No, I don't want your shit commercial. I don't know why this isn't showing up. I hope that it is. Bear with me a minute, everyone, folks. Everyone here a minute. I don't know why this isn't showing up. I hope that it is. Bear with me a minute, everyone, folks. Everyone here a minute. Alright, that sounds not great. Hopefully that it's coming through better on showing up. I hope that it is. Bear with me a minute, everyone, folks. Everyone here a minute. Alright, so we've finally been able to upgrade the software. I had to... It's coming through better on showing up. I hope that it is. Bear with me a minute, everyone, folks. And so that way I can multicast with without having the issues on YouTube, because YouTube is not user-friendly if you're coming from another site that is not their own. So if I was streaming exclusively with them, I'm sure I'd get a very clear, video and audio, and it would all go great. And when I'm trying to go from Rumble to YouTube, they have problems with that. They don't like that. And, audio in the background, you can hear my voice, but audio in the background doesn't come out right. So it ends up being a problem. Since I purchased the upgrade, I can now multicast to multiple places. I tried it earlier today, and it seems like it's working out. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the Relief Valve Podcast. I'm a little late. I said I was going to start at 6, but dinner ran late, and it got in the way of me showing up on time. I don't know why this fucking piece of shit isn't showing the show. Bear with me a second here. It's not updating it. It's my old iPhone, so if it's connected to the Wi-Fi, but it's possible it's not linking to the latest stuff, because Rumble, at least online right now, is telling me that we are on here on Rumble, and I just want to make sure that that's accurate. Even though I'm not lighting up in the diagram thing for a live show, it's showing that I'm on here. Okay, so we're 2 weeks out from the election, and I know you hear a lot that this is going to be the most important election of your life, and the stakes could not be higher. And I know you're probably sick of hearing that. I know for, every 4 years for my whole life, and I'm in my 40s, I certainly felt that way. They always did the fear-mongering. They always told you one side or the other would tell you that the worst possible thing is going to happen. And if you don't vote, and more appropriately, vote for the correct candidate, all of those bad things are indeed going to happen. But I say this now because I truly believe that this is that time where that statement is accurate. The Democrats hate this country as it is. They hate its Constitution. They hate its values. They hate its freedoms. They want nothing more to tear all of that down, burn the Constitution. As much as they claim it's as important to them as it is to us, it isn't. it's a buffer that gets in their way. When it gives you the freedom to say whatever you want, even if it's mean, vulgar, or anything else, aside from threatening bodily harm to someone, then you're running into legal grounds there. But aside from that, you can speak in whatever way you want. You can call people in whatever way you want. They hate stuff like that. The Democrats' ultimate goal is total control. I truly believe that that's why they have corrupt DAs that are letting criminals out of jail and giving criminals all the rights that we should have. So they get away with whatever they want, hurting people, raping people, murdering people. And in the meantime, we're hit with every stupid little thing. And I believe that the Democrats' plan is to sow chaos on purpose, in so that you will end up turning the person that is your terrorizer will then become your savior, right? It's almost like that Munchausen. No, I'm not saying that right. The one where you get kidnapped and then you start identifying with your kidnapper. And then you come to defend your kidnapper and then tell other people that they're misunderstood and they're actually good people. This is what the Democratic Party is doing to the American people. It's to sow chaos among you, make you suffer, make you lose your family members, have everything turn into the worst situations that it can, and then when you're crying to the heavens and you're asking to be saved and ask someone to help you, they go, "We are here to set things right, and we are here to make sure that we'll fix this problem." And then all of a sudden, all of that'll start going away. It seems implausible to me that the Democrats want criminals out there. That's a good thing. They want chaos out there. That's a good thing. Because they end up getting affected by it too. Their own constituents get affected by that too. You've heard stories about Democratic Congress people in Washington, D.C. getting their car stolen and punched in the face in broad daylight because you're letting all these criminals out and be around in Washington, D.C. It was ironically, your own voting and your own actions that led to your car being stolen when you're a person that's supposedly in favor of these criminals. And yeah, that plan's going to bite him in the ass, but I believe that there is a purpose to doing all this. There's a purpose to allowing people to not know what their genders are, to change their genders, to become transgender. It isn't because they believe in their human right to do it too. I believe behind closed doors, they're recoiling from them. The Democrats are recoiling from transgenders and others in fear and disgust, the same as anybody else. But when they're out in the public sphere, they have to act supportive, and they're going to stand up for that little guy, so to speak. And they have to do that because the dregs of society, the worst, the mentally ill and such, are their primary supporters. So you have to cater to your primary supporters, which means pretending that you agree with and believe in all of their mental illness and everything that they're doing. And this is what drags the Democratic Party deeper and deeper into that cesspit where they've become that. Now, maybe there's some moderates still in the party. Maybe there's some that's brains still work and they still care about old-fashioned values, but I believe it's a minority in that party at this point. The radicals have either taken over the old hawks and now rule over them. They blow with the direction of the wind that the radical left want, or you have the ones that have come into office, are radically left themselves, and they will do their best to push this agenda moving forward. That's all I've ever really seen from the Democratic Party. So you have Kamala Harris now, and she is, for everything that I've said about her, you know, I've said she's a whore lying on her back, and that's the only reason that she's made any headway and started any political career at all, and that's true. Dating Mayor Brown in San Francisco got her foot in the door, and having sex with him got her foot in the door to politics in California, and then she made her way through the ranks through there in some way, shape, or form. But she's always found a way to either sleep or accidentally trip her way into the next position, with the most recent one being a DEI hire, a failed presidential candidate. She barely made it through half the thing before she had to drop out. Being purposefully brought on to the corrupt Biden regime because she was a diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. She was a black woman. And that was the reason they took her. They could try and talk about her accolades and anything else, but she had no real accomplishments. They brought her on because she was a black woman. So it put her in a position to be the next one for the throne. So through this entire time, she's been standing there with a knife behind her back, waiting for Dementia Joe to fail, and everyone knew that he would. Even the Democrats knew, while they were lying and playing all of us for fools by saying, well, he's perfectly fine behind closed doors. I've never met a smarter, more quick on the ball guy. I mean, you're all wrong about what he's saying, right up to the point where they had to admit that we were all right, and that his brain is expired oatmeal and he's not capable of running the country. Then she was able to use that dagger and put it in his back by being the next person in line that was waiting, and she was very happy to take that position, very happy to walk right into it with almost no resistance whatsoever. She was literally just, he was kicked out of his throne, and she was put on the throne about 5 minutes later. And she barely had to do a damn thing but sit in her office and, according to Dan Bongino and all the accounts from the Secret Service, play solitaire in her office instead of doing any work of any consequence. So, once again, she tripped herself right into the opportunity, which shows how messed up our system is, to have the potential to be president of the United States. And I can tell you, yes, I'm a conservative, yes, I'm a Trump supporter. But I can tell you, just from being a show creator, following all of this on a daily basis, attempting to put my biases aside for 1 minute, I can tell you that the worst thing that can happen to us is to have Comrade Kamala take over as president of the United States. She has no idea what she's doing. She is a rollover for any special interest group or any country that's willing to play hardball with us. You know, she tries to play this, I'm the leftist elitist woman in charge. Excuse me, I'm talking. Do you think that nasally, annoying, stuck-up California cunt voice is going to work with Vladimir Putin, with Kim Jong-un, with the Ayatollahs of Iran? You think anyone that controls their country with an iron fist, who actually has strength behind them or is willing to portray it, are going to be sidelined by her? And that's just the part. That's just the first part of the worst part of it. The overspending that happens with the government right now will get significantly worse with the money that she's willing to give away to mostly minorities, right? Being white is bad now. I think we've all figured that out. If you're a white person, and especially a white male, you are very bad. So she's going to hand out all of these early $25,000 home loans, and then give it to people that can't afford their homes of any geographic. That's what happened with the housing crash right before Clinton came into office. It was they were giving away home loans to people that couldn't afford the homes. But it was almost like an early equity thing going on there. Help everybody get a house. And then the housing market crashed because none of them could afford them. They defaulted on all of their loans, and they had to sell all the houses for whatever they could get for them. Now Kamala wants to bring that back again by giving you $25,000 to help you out to get into the house, and then you're on your own with that. And every other garbage plan that she has. This will be the country is already suffering under Dementia Joe. He should have been 25th Amendmented and removed from office at this point. But he acts as a good buffer to stay in office while taking the heat off Kamala. And if she gets in, that's Biden 2.0, but with someone that has zero clue, experience, or ability to do anything. Trump had the track record of peace in the Middle East, no wars, more money in everybody's pocket, and a better economy for everyone. Up until the point COVID hit. Now, the Democrats want to say that, oh, well, the economy went to shit when Trump was in office. No, we had a pandemic hit that was out of his control. because China was running illegal experimentation funded by the Democrats and their NIH and Anthony Fauci, who were all aware of this, that this was going on, and then tried to cover it up when it blew up and went out of control. These were all Democrats that were in charge of all of this. And then they tried to hide China's involvement in the release of COVID. But the thing that we're supposed to focus on, according to the Democrats, is that the economy went bad when Trump was in office. And with them in office, economy will be good. While skipping the fact that the economy was great until COVID hit, and then the brakes for the country were absolutely slammed on. And then we all tried to figure out everything from there, because we haven't had an epidemic of this magnitude since essentially the Spanish flu in 1918 or something like that. But that was Trump's fault, because a virus got out. And now they would those who are in charge currently, Kamala Harris and Joe, would like you to believe that as soon as Kamala's elected, she's going to go ahead and clean up the mess from the last 4 years, which is their fault. Does that make sense? I used this analogy before. Imagine the guy that just keeps kicking you in the crotch. And then he says, I'm running for office. If you vote me in, I'll stop kicking you in the crotch. If you vote me in and I get into office. Then you say, well, really, you could stop kicking me in the crotch right now. You don't have to wait until you get voted in. No. I won't be able to have the power to do anything, even though I'm in office and in control right now. I won't have the power to do anything until day one of my presidency, and then I can stop kicking you in the nuts. That's what the Democrats want you to believe. And there are people out there that genuinely believe this crap. If Kamala gets in, we'll have happy, happy, joy, joy, which she's tried to put out there, and everything will be better. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So let's get into some of this here. We've got, so this is ending October 22nd. This is 5:38. So who's ahead in the national presidential polls? Let's get a listing of that. We've got, and I don't buy this at all. We've got Harris plus 1.8 overall, with 48.2% to Trump's 46.4%. You got Kennedy down here at 4.9, but he's essentially removed himself from the race. And this is they're trying to claim that, and I don't believe in the polls, the same polls that said that Hillary was going to take everything in a landslide when Trump beat her the first time. So I take all of the polls with a grain of salt. So 538 here, which I thought was supposed to be somewhat reliable here, has had Harris on an incline throughout all of this time. An incline and then a decline up to yesterday of going from 2.8 to plus 1.8, 48 to 46. Again, take that with a measure of salt, okay? Polls, which, by the way, as far as polls go, have any of you ever gotten called and gotten polled? In my 40 years of life, I have never received a call asking me questions about the candidate that I want, that I intend to vote for, and answering a series of questions about everything that's going on. I've never received one. Have you? So, again, who they're polling, and there's things about polls, right? They'll pick, one polling agency will pick a couple of thousand people, but they'll choose it from like one set group they've gotten, or one set demographic, or whatever it is, where you end up with, let's say, percentage-wise, mostly Democrats and a very small amount of Republicans, and then assuming that they even spoke to them, and then they ask them the questions, and they get back, and then they go, well, 95% of our poll was for Harris. Okay, but you only polled 2,000 people. So what you're citing that 90% of 2,000 people went for Harris, but that poll is not indicative of the millions upon millions in the country that will be voting. You don't know how the rest of them are feeling, just your particular test group that you spoke to. So that's why these things are not, you know, they're not breaking them down 50-50. They're not making them fair and then getting honest answers. And another thing that other political pundits have brought up is there are people on both sides that are uncomfortable with saying who they want to vote for. You have someone like myself, I'll whoever asks, I'm going to say Trump. I'm never going to hide it. I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to say Trump because the Democrats suck. They're the worst people in the world. There are other people that feel very differently about how elections go and how they share information with other people. One, they'll be very uncomfortable to even say anything because they view it as a private matter. Two, they'll know who they want to vote for, but they'll be afraid to say it out loud in case their friends circle and their neighbors find out who they're leaning towards. So if you're an independent, maybe you're a Democrat that's looking at things differently this time, or you're an independent, and you have a friend base of maybe a small amount of Republicans or conservatives, and the rest of your friend base is a lot of liberals and Democrats. So they're always talking shit about Trump all the time. Republicans bad, Trump bad. And then you're going, yeah, but I'm getting, you know, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but I'm getting screwed by Harris and Joe. They've screwed up the economy. They've screwed up the country. And we're in like 3 different wars right now, with more on the way, depending on how all of this goes. Because all the other countries are China and the others are all watching. So you're thinking, I don't want to say this out. I'm going to go vote for Trump, but I'm not going to say this out loud to my friends. You poll that person and they go, I'm undecided, or I don't want to ask. I don't want to answer. And so you don't get accurate numbers from your poll, from those people that were not willing. So the only thing that you're able to do at that point is only go by the people that were most willing to step out and say, yes, I'm voting for Harris because I hate Trump, or yes, I'm voting for Trump because I hate Harris. Aside from that small group that you can get, you're going to have this gray area of everybody else that for one reason or another is not willing to communicate with you. And here's some of the signs of how people feel. This is what I'm getting to. This is a poll of, my guess is it's going to be over 1,200 people in Las Vegas around October 21st and the 22nd for Harris. This is from Forbes. Only 28% approve of what she's doing. A 64% disapproval rate. That's disapproving a plus 36 from the previous. For RV? So another 1,512, and these it couldn't be a state or a city. This could also be just a political group or a group that goes around and does polling on behalf of these, because I don't think RV represents Forbes, but they're saying the sponsor is Forbes. And this, okay, so here it is here. A is adults, V are voters, LV are likely voters, and RV is registered voters. So out of likely voters, that's 1,200. From Forbes, 64% disapprove. From registered voters, 1,500 people. In this particular poll, again from Forbes, 61% disapproval rate over 28%. So that was likely there. I don't know where I'm going yet, even though most people know where they're going. And registered, like, I'm there, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I know exactly what I'm doing. They have she has an overwhelming disapproval rate. YouGov from The Economist, likely voters, 1,295, 61% approval rate. And you're seeing this here, just go down this list. YouGov, again, registered voters, 1,400 polled, 60% disapproval. The approval for her is only staying between these people, 15 and 28%. Across the board, she's got an overwhelming disapproval. And yet, if I take you to that other poll, it shows she's up plus 1.8 in the overall, with disapproval numbers like this. Joe Biden's approval. This is so weird about the numbers that he gets. It's like, this is what breaks down for these two, and this is very odd. People very much hate Kamala. And you see it in her approvals. And then you go to Joe Biden's, and he's up a little more from her. Even though this guy has been awful, he tries to play himself off as the old guy who's really nice, but he's just befuddled and confused. But then you remember that union worker that was talking to him and got into an argument with him when he was running for office, and Joe was yelling at him, "I don't work for you! You yell at me, I don't work for you!" The guy's the old asshole who doesn't like to be challenged and doesn't like to be spoken back to. But for some, and he showed this multiple times. But for some reason, there are groups of people who view him as this guy who has some knowledge about what's going on, and that he's just the nice old, kind of crazy grandpa that'll come over for Thanksgiving. He's a wacky guy. He says some wacky things, and he doesn't know what year it is, but you like hanging out with him, which is just bizarre to me because the guy's a brain-dead moron who sucked at his job his entire life. But here it is. Look at Kamala's up here. Disapprovals are all the way in the deep purple, in the 60s. You come down to Joe, and you've got likely voters, another 1,200. 42% approval rate for Joe, 57% disapprove. His numbers are still bad. Everyone's saying he still sucks. But he's got these other dummies saying, oh, well, there's 38%. I think Dementia Joe's good. He's doing good. That's bizarre to me. Registered voters from Forbes, 1,500. 39% approval rate, 58% disapprove. This is from YouGov, 1295. The Economist, 43% approve, 56% disapprove. Again, from registered voters, 1,400. From YouGov again, 42% approval, 56% disapprove. Let's see, why do we have different numbers here? We've got Congress approval. Okay, so now we've got Kamala Harris's overall approval. Just her as a person running. So these other ones must be her excuse me. Her approvals when working with Congress. So do Americans approve or disapprove of Congress? 62%, 62.9% are saying disapproval. But what does that got to do with Kamala, other than her being a senator that's part of Congress? But she hasn't really been there doing her job. She's running for office. And then you got Joe Biden's approval as associated with Congress. Now we come down to Kamala Harris's approval. So now this is, do Americans approve or disapprove of Kamala Harris? 47% disapprove of her, and 45.6% approve of her. So this shows that there's like a partial split almost down the middle for that. So Harris from Forbes, likely voters, 1,244. 46% approve, 52% disapprove. So they're still higher in the disapproval range. But who are they talking to that thinks this dumb bitch has done a good job, has done anything, period, and is someone that has relayed useful information to you? Let's go to registered voters. 1,500, again from Forbes. Forbes is a left-leaning magazine and company. So my guess would be, where you're getting the Forbes numbers, they're polling mostly leftists and Democrat liberals. But you go to YouGov and some of the others, and you're getting similar numbers. So it's very odd. You come down for the Supreme Court, you're coming down to the Economist, and you're getting 37% approval for or over the Supreme Court, 37% approval, 49% disapprove. So president in the general election. And it's showing you how close it is and people's personal feelings right now. Likely voters, 1,244. Again, it's their polling of these specific groups. So when you see these huge numbers, it's 1,000 fucking people that are saying that. That's nothing compared to the population of the United States. But when you're presented with some of these polls and the way that you're presented with them, you are made to think that a huge majority is going 48% for Harris right here and 49% for Trump. That a massive majority is split down the middle from them. And it's 1,200 people. There's probably that many in your kid's high school. There's probably more than that in your kid's college. But 1,200 is where they're getting it from. That's not a reliable poll, in my opinion. Harris for Forbes. Another 1,500 of registered voters. 48 Harris, 48 Trump, right down the middle. Likely, more likely vote. These are all taken between the 21st and the 22nd. So maybe they're splitting groups at this point. Forbes, again, 1,200, doing the same thing. 49 Harris, 51 Trump. Harris with Forbes, and this is between Harris and Trump. 1,500 registered voters. 49 Harris, 51 Trump. TIPP Insights, 1,294. 49% Harris, 47% Trump. So that just shows me there that they polled mostly liberal Democrats, and that's the reason they got their numbers there. So not a great poll there, but neither is the Forbes for that matter. YouGov, sponsored by The Economist. TIPP doesn't even have a sponsor. 1,293 likely voters. 49 Harris, 46 Trump. The Economist, 1,400. This is YouGov again. 1,400. 48 Harris, 46 Trump. Just my overall point being, in my opinion, any things that you're seeing like this, and Tim Walt's favorability, they're breaking that down. 40% favorable, 43%. The guy's almost been proven at this point. The guy's a pedophile and a weirdo scumbag that lies about hanging out in China and taking young teenage kids to China. And there are people that are going, I like what this guy has to say. I like him. So, okay, so those are some of the numbers coming from 538. They're supposed to be one of the more reputable polling things here, and even then, I'm taking some of this with a grain of salt here. So let's go on to Polymarket. This is the betting odds in Vegas. We had it at 63.9 for Trump before. It's gone down 1.8% to 62.4, with Kamala Harris going up 2% to 37.9. And, the left argues this particular poll, kind of a poll-ish, is what people are betting real money in Vegas, okay? So, you see, they're tracking it too. 12 days, 5 hours, 46 minutes to the election. So everyone's getting their voting in now. You got a Senate breakdown too. You've got people voting 84% going for the Senate going Republican, 16% going for the Senate staying remaining or getting stronger as Democrats. And they're showing a breakdown here of who's winning. So you've got Josh Hawley in Missouri is leading Lucas Kuntz big time here. And I think Lucas Kuntz is the one that just shot a reporter. We're going to get to that. In Tennessee, you've got Blackburn taking a massive lead over Gloria Johnson. You've got Roger Wicker taking a massive lead over Ty Pinkins in Mississippi. In Florida, Rick Scott, a huge lead over Debbie McCurrisett Powell. In Texas, Ted Cruz over Colin Allred. In New Mexico, let's get rid of this. In New Mexico, you've got Martin Heinrich well over the Democrat, well over Nella Dominici. So I don't know, whatever blue morons are fucking up New Mexico. Arizona as well, which used to be red and it's kind of fluctuating all over the place. That's got Ruben Gallego 81% over Kerry Lake. But these are betting odds in Vegas right now. I didn't get into the Senate odds in 538. This is how people are betting right now and how they feel everything is going to go. Regular people like you and I are going to have a better pulse of how the people feel and what their frustrations are and which way they're leaning than some of these pollsters ever are. That's why if I see something like this with Polymarket, I feel like you're going to have people that just feel strongly about one candidate, and you're going to have others that are going to go and, dude, everyone I've talked to says Harris sucks and they're going for Trump. So they're betting more on I'm getting the frustration, and I'm seeing they hate this person, they like this one, this is the way they're leaning, and betting odds are resulting that are showing that. So you got Jackie Rosen over Sam Brown in Nevada, and in California, Adam Schiff is hugely over Steve Garvey. Adam Schiff is an absolute scumbag, but the betting is going that they are betting strongly that the scumbag's going to get another chance to be in office because it's such a blue state. They love to keep getting kicked in the nuts. Maria Cantwell over Raul Garcia in Washington State. Minnesota, you got Amy Klobuchar, which is another dumb bitch, over Royce White in Minnesota. Wisconsin is getting a little closer. You've got in people's betting and opinions. Tammy Baldwin, and it's slowly closing over Eric Hove. Indiana, Jim Banks is way over Valerie McRae. West Virginia, Jim Justice, because Manchin is not running again for another term. So you've got Jim Justice going against Glenn Elliott. Jim Justice is killing him. So West Virginia is a red state that had a blue governor or senator, and it's just going back to 100% red at this point. In Virginia, Tim Kaine is over Hung Kao. In Maryland, Angela also Brooks is way over Larry Hogan. So again, these are just the betting odds. You go back to markets, and they've got, as far as all this goes, presidential election winner, they've got Republican 56%, Democrat 45%. They've got everything here. Chess championships, where the way everyone feels this shit is going. So now we're looking at swing states here, and we're looking at, and the swing states are going to be the biggest thing, right? Because if Trump can take a couple of them, the entire election's over. So you've got, as far as betting is going, again, to reiterate, Trump over Harris in Arizona, Trump over Harris in Georgia, Trump over Harris in Nevada, Trump over a small lead, but still a lead in Michigan, because the thing that's going on with Michigan is full of a lot of Somalis and Muslims and other stuff, and they hate the Israelis, and Harris is still sticking to we're still going to support Israel, which the radical left-wingers and the terrorist supporters hate that. So what they're saying is, out there in Michigan, is we're not going to show up to vote for you. So if you don't say you're going to stop supporting Israel and you're going to stop helping them all out, we're not going to be there to back you up when the time comes. So they're starting to see that manifest in Michigan to hurt Harris, which would normally pretty much overwhelmingly go to the Democrats. Wisconsin, again, small lead up over her, at least in this betting in Wisconsin. In Pennsylvania, another battleground state, he's up over her as well. People in Pennsylvania not happy with Harris at all. Popular vote is showing 62% for Harris, 38% for Trump. But we don't go by the popular vote. We go by the Electoral College. And the reason that happens is the largest states with the largest populations would get to decide our elections. New York, a massive population. California, massive population. All blue states. If we went by popular vote only, you're in these small states. You're in Jersey. You're in Connecticut. You're in Rhode Island. You're in Mass. I mean, they're blue as well. But let's just say that it's in Indiana or a smaller West Virginia. You're getting outvoted here by New York and California, or a blue Nevada, or a blue New Mexico. You're getting absolutely blown out of the water by all those Democratic voters. So if you went by purely a popular vote just goes person for person. That's it. There's no restrictions. Whereas Electoral colleges, there is a certain amount of votes that are advocated, that are given to each state. With the larger states getting less because they have such a high population, you can't let them decide all of your elections. Those Minnesotas, those New Yorks, those Virginias, those Californias that are going to be overwhelmingly blue. Yeah, you can say you've got a Texas and maybe a Florida and a Montana to help balance some of that out, but the largest ones are, these Calis and New Yorks and et cetera. And you're going to get outvoted. And a Democrat's going to get in every time, and you have no chance. Unless, for some crazy reason, these large population states were to change red, which no one really sees happening anytime soon. Okay, so we've seen the betting odds right now. She's up a little bit, 37. And this will also be some people just responding to polls. Where the polls are swaying, that's where they're swaying to as well. And then they're changing their vote, increasing their vote, or they cut it off and they vote for the next guy. So you're seeing that switch there. But this is also indicative of how the people feel. People are betting real money. This isn't, I guess, a little bit for fun. But they're betting real money. You don't bet on something you don't feel strongly about, or you wouldn't waste your money. So, okay. So we're going to go to what I showed you here. It has been confirmed at this point that Donald Trump is to be appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast this Friday. So Former U.S. President and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump will appear on the wildly popular Joe Rogan Experience podcast, according to reports. Joe Rogan has got about 11 million followers. Various media outlets, including NBC News, report that Rogan is scheduled to tape a broadcast with Trump on Friday in Austin, Texas. The episode will then be released at a future date before the November 5th election. So that's interesting. You might be getting that, and they could have set that up on purpose. If you do it live, who knows how much it turns everything. If you do it a little closer to the election, maybe if some people don't like what he said or how the interview went, it's a little more damage control. So I guess I can understand that for those reasons they might not be releasing it immediately, but they will release it before the election. So I can kind of get that. By the way, Kamala was in talks to appear, so let's get there. The news of Trump's appearance comes days after reports that U.S. Vice President and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris was in talks to appear on the podcast. It's unclear if Harris has finalized her appearance or if discussions are still ongoing. Now, as far as she's turned down anything, aside from the Bret Baier that didn't go well at all. I didn't like how Bret Baier let her rant and rave and just keep going over bullshit all the time. But he did hold her feet to the fire on a couple of things, so I feel like the whole thing was a shit show. And mostly bad for her, because the whole point of that was to cross over party lines, go over to Fox News, and see if she couldn't wrangle some small group of idiot conservatives or Republicans and haven't figured out how life works yet. But maybe try to get them to look at her point of view. And then she just rambled and went nuts and got pissed that Bret Baier asked questions that need to be asked. So I don't think, Joe runs his show his way. He has him and Jamie as his other guy to pull up stuff, do sound and all that. He's got an extremely small crew and he runs the whole thing. I don't know him, so take it with a grain of salt. But I don't see Joe agreeing to softball the whole thing, make a whole bunch of changes that benefit one candidate or the other. I feel like he's going to want with respect to the person he's sitting down with, a relatively straightforward interview where if you flub up, that's your flub. You said it, and it is what it is. Now, Joe, for a long time, has been a left, kind of a liberal moron. And I feel like he's been waking up a little bit more and at least seeing what's really happening. I mean, he was a rich guy that voted for Bernie Sanders. So think about that for a minute and think about any of that makes sense. Bernie Sanders is a socialist communist that wants to take money away from every rich person if he had the opportunity. Joe is a rich person. You voted for the guy that would like to empty your bank account. Tell me if that makes any fucking sense, because he didn't like anybody else. But in listening to him as time's gone on and we've got through COVID and he realized COVID and the shots were bullshit, that he might not be turning into a conservative or a Republican. I don't believe that's happening. But I do believe he's waking up he's walking in the door to find everything that we've already known about all of this time. That you were lied to about COVID, you were lied to about the COVID shots and that they're dangerous. And about what Kamala and what Joe is. He saw them for who they are. And he's got his own opinions about Trump, too. He's not kissing Trump's ass in any way, shape, or form, but he's starting to see with what we're presented with, you're much better off with Trump than you are with Kamala. I think that's where he's at least in my opinion. Trump and Rogan's public discourse has varied over time. Rogan has publicly voiced his alignment with Trump on some issues while also being critical on others. And that's okay. You don't have to like somebody 100%. You can be critical of some things that they're doing while praising the other things and then hoping that they create or correct and create better situations for the mistakes they were making previously. That's perfectly reasonable. Trump has long expressed interest in appearing on the podcast, though Rogan previously seemed hesitant to have him on, and he did. He's like, other guests have had him, said, have you thought about having Trump on? And he said, yeah, but I just don't know, and what the show's going to turn into, and I just don't know. But now it's come down to the point where he's open to fairly give both of them the platform to talk to 11 million people on his show. And Kamala is obviously not getting from Rogan, at least at this point, what she wants, what makes her comfortable, so she hasn't agreed to it. But after Trump does his, she may feel like if she's sinking enough, she may have no choice but to do it and let what the cards fall as they may. She's poor at doing interviews. She's poor at doing anything off of a teleprompter. And if you challenge her on issues, she just repeats the same bullshit answers that, one, are already lies and useless information. And then, two, she just keeps hitting you with them as if they're useful, factual information. So it wouldn't go well for her, I don't think. He says, by the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form, Rogan told Lex Friedman in 2022. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him. While Trump is largely complimentary of Rogan, he did not take lightly to the comedian and UFC commentator's praise of independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy in August. After Rogan said Kennedy was the only one who makes sense to me for president, Trump ripped him on Truth Social. It'll be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring, MAGA 2024 vote, Trump wrote. And Trump gets a huge ovation and round of applause when he goes to UFC events. If Rogan kind of shit all over him and this interview went sideways, I think it's possible he could get a big boo when he goes in. People wouldn't be happy. I mean, would he give a shit? I don't really know, but it's possible. It's unclear when the podcast episode will air or how long it will be. The Joe Rogan Experience is one of the most listened to podcasts in the world across multiple platforms. This current top episode is 2018 appearance by Elon Musk, which currently has 68 plus million views on YouTube, not including the listens and views on the other streaming platforms. I remember, I think that was the one that Elon Musk was smoking weed with him. So that's going to be interesting if it is happening. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. It's going to be recorded, so it won't be live like some of his other stuff. But I'm definitely going to be watching it, and I'll be curious to see how it goes. And I'm sure the media is going to be all over it. Okay. So getting on to, I did this, my last show, or the show before that, we got into,
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth
hold on a
to
second
rebuild
here.
your gums and teeth.
We got into Howard Stern, right? The bad boy that fought against the institution and fought against the FCC. He wanted free speech. He wanted to say whatever he wanted. He wanted to be left alone. He was not politically correct at all. I played you some of the video of him dressing up like a black person, saying the N-word, and doing all of this other stuff, and having the black midgets and black dwarves on his show, and using women and using dwarves and using midgets and strippers and everything else. You know, he was just a rude, crude scumbag in his early days. And then he went over to Sirius XM, where he could be free to say and do whatever he wanted without the FCC on him. And then he got offered all of the money, I think, in my opinion, is how much he got paid out. And he got paid to turn into this sissy leftist queer who hid in his house during COVID and refused to come out, gave the advice to his other listeners that they should not go to college if the college won't have super COVID restrictions for their safety, masks and mandatory inoculations and everything else. And then being a friend of Trump, to shitting on Trump, and then supporting Democrats who are the very ones that would have shut him down in Boston radio almost 40 years ago. So he went from bad boy to sellout shitbag, which, you know, I think I made him a shitbag of the week, or he should be if I didn't. And now, and I've been hearing a little bit of this about this on Eminem online, that he's turned into a lefty shitbag too. And now in Detroit, he's come out in defense of Kamala Harris. Here he is.
And I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
Barack Obama. I'm here with my boy Eminem. I'm black again when it's necessary.
I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies.
I've gotta say.
So I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem.
I don't want to get nervous, but I had to come out here and be a shitbag like Eminem, and I was feeling a little nervous because he knows I'm not a real black guy. I'm a Muslim, and I hate this country, and apparently Eminem does too. But I'm a black dude from the streets, even though I've been a middle class, upper rich elitist fucking loser my entire life, and I'm super excited. It's fucking. The ass kissing and the bullshit.
Now I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
This is white people are going, what does that mean? None of those dumb leftist bitches know what the fuck he's talking about. He's quoting lines from one of Eminem's songs, but they're all like, yeah, those are words. Why is he saying those words? Fucking morons. And that's what so Eminem has become a white dude for Harris. And that's why I say a white gay for Harris, because it's only white gay liberals that think that Joe and Walsh are a good duo. Unfucking believable. So let's see here. So we'll get to the story about the Democratic candidate shooting a reporter. Fucking morons. So social media erupted on Tuesday after the Democratic candidate running against Senator Josh Hawley for his Senate seat in Missouri accidentally shot a reporter at a campaign event. Great day at the range today with my friend Adam Kinzinger. You all remember Adam Kinzinger, the traitor Republican that brought such hits to you as being on, turning on all of his fellow Americans and being on the January 6th panel. The one that cried when he heard about what Capitol officers went through. This fucking fag. So he's hanging out with Adam Kinzinger, the traitor who knew he couldn't run for office again because he stabbed all of his constituents in the back. So he left. He didn't run for another term. So he's hanging out with this scumbag Democrat because Adam Kinzinger is a Republican who wants to fight back against the evils of Trump. So these two morons are together. And Democratic Senate candidate Lucas Kuntz posted on X on Tuesday. We got to hang out with some union workers while exercising our freedom. Yeah, shooting people. Always have your first aid kit handy. Ha ha! Shrapnel can always fly when you hit a target like today, especially when you're too close and you're not using the area properly, you fucking idiots. And you've got to be ready to go. We had 4 first aid kits, so we were able to take care of this situation. It's no big deal that this guy got hit by shrapnel from a bullet. And I'm glad Ryan is okay and was able to continue reporting. KSHB TV's Ryan Gamboa was the only person injured after a bullet fragment struck his arm, and Kuntz, a Marine Corps veteran who was shooting an AR-15 at the time and should have fucking known better about his setup, wrapped his wound with gauze, the Kansas City Star reported. Social media reactions from conservatives quickly poured in on X, including from Howley, who posted saying, I know the Kuntz campaign needed a shot in the arm, but this is taking it a little too far. Democrats Lucas Kuntz and Adam Kinzinger apparently accidentally shot a reporter at an event today, Hawley Communications Director Abigail Jackson posted on X. Are these guys trying to make Tim Walsh look competent with a gun? Tim Walsh just had a thing recently where he went out hunting because he wanted to try and show everyone that he's a real man, because he comes off as just like this on the spectrum fag. And so he went out hunting, and then he couldn't load the fucking gun. He's got it like between his legs, and he's like, and he's struggling with it live on video while the news is recording it. Absolute fail. Absolutely mind-blowing insanity from a candidate for a political party that wants to take away your guns because it claims you can't safely own them. Federalist CEO and co-founder Sean Davis posted on X. Yeah, but Democrats are allowed to have them, and they misuse them, shoot people, as evidenced in this, and screw the whole thing up. But listen to the Democrats about the proper way to own guns. You could have killed somebody today, you frickin' moron, Davis added. What kind of a brain-dead idiot shoots steel inside 10 yards with a rifle? That's why I'm saying they were in this little pocket zone, and they were all way too close. So the shrapnel, you should have been way far back. And the guy had a scope on the AR. And he was 10 yards away. If you're shooting from 10 yards away, you should be using a pistol, not a rifle. So he shoots 10 yards away, surrounded by reporters right behind him. No proper safe zone for anybody at all. And then he gets a fucking reporter. It hits the metal, and it isn't going through because it's a steel plate. So the shrapnel is hitting it, bouncing back. It could have hit anybody. It could have hit one of those morons. Instead, it hit the reporter. Absolutely mind-blowing insanity from a candidate for you could have killed somebody today, you freaking moron. Davis added, what kind of a brain-dead idiot shoots steel inside 10 yards with a rifle? They were shooting at a metal target a few yards, I think they meant to say, away, and apparently some shrapnel or ricochet hit a reporter covering the event on the elbow. Washington Free Beacon reporter Chuck Ross posted on X. Great day at the range. Word of advice, if you don't want somebody to get hit by shrapnel when you go shooting, it's probably not the best idea to fire at steel targets 10 feet in front of you with rifles. Digital strategist Greg Price had. So, like I said, they were using steel targets. I was grateful for the opportunity to talk to union workers about our freedoms at the range, Kuntz told Fox News Digital in a statement. Safety is important to us, which is why I shot a reporter. Which is why the range was set up and run by a certified NRA training counselor. Did he call out sick? But anytime you're handling weapons, you need to be prepared. We acted quickly, and I'm glad the reporter was okay and able to keep reporting. Kuntz responded to a post from Hawley that said, when liberals play with guns, people get hurt, with a clip of Hawley running through the Capitol on January 6th, the last time Josh Hawley saw a gun, Kuntz wrote. In the meantime, Kuntz is nearly murdering reporters because he doesn't know how to fire at the range properly. I wanted to find the video. And that's not it. Give me the X post, I guarantee. Okay, so here's their setup here. Lucas Kuntz. Oh, I can't wait to bullshit you. The Hodge twins. Y'all a bunch of dumbasses. Gunther Eagleman. We follow each other. I believe he follows me. All I see are clowns that have no fucking clue what they're doing. It's amazing no one got hurt worse. And somebody else says, ask your boy Tim Walsh for a tampon to stop the bleed. Gunther Eagleman. Adam Kinzinger is a dork. Sean Davis, you could have killed someone today, you frickin' moron. What kind of brain-dead idiot shoots steel inside 10 yards with a rifle? LOL, you got a reporter with Spall because you were shooting steel at 6 yards. Nice job, idiot. Hey, haha, hey, at the AK guy. Check out these idiots, tagging the AK guy. White dudes for Harris do gun safety. Why did you put Phil Holloway says, why'd you put a tourniquet in a grazing flesh wound? Why are people wearing their eye protection on top of their head? Why are you firing 223 rounds at metal targets 20 feet away? Asking for a few million friends. Yeah. Some of the people, they didn't have their safety glasses on properly. Here's their setup. This picture here to give you a larger one that's a little closer. He's got all his guns here, trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Gun Guy, who, if you're any type of a gun person at all, you should have learned and continue to learn and continue to practice safety measures for yourself and everybody that's at the range with you. Because the range that I've been a legal gun owner since 2014. Any of the range I went to, you were always lined up with potentially a dozen people. If it was a full day, you all had your own aisles, and you're taking care of your weapons within your own area. You're pointing them away from everybody. You're making sure they're unloaded while you're readjusting something or reloading a magazine and handling bullets. You're making sure you're being careful with everybody, because if you're like, oh, why is this down? And start shooting through all fucking 10 other lanes of everybody else. The safety is key when you're dealing with everybody. This Mr. Macho Man moron right here is 20 feet away from steel targets. If you want to be this distance, don't use steel targets. Use wood targets. Use a fucking gallon, a filled up gallon of water. Shoot through those. And if you're worried about the bullets traveling through the woods to potentially hurt someone else, okay, choose a better area where there is no one around for like 50 miles. Or don't do steel targets. Back the fuck up. Back everybody up. This moron's got a scope. He's using a scope to shoot 20 feet away. You know who does this? The Democratic Act Blue donors that have been trying to assassinate Trump. This is the dummies right here doing this. No fucking clue what they're doing. Absolutely ridiculous. So this moron shot a reporter, and he's getting absolutely roasted, and I'm here for it. Especially the Hodge twins getting involved. That's absolutely great. Somebody says arms control negotiator. Dude can't even control his own firearms. Can't make this shit up. Marine Lucas Kuntz claims Marine vet, arms control negotiator, antitrust advocate, real populist. I learn about me and my race for U.S. Senate. Learn about me and my race for U.S. Senate against Josh Hawley. And this dumbass is running as... He's running as a Democrat? And he's still on here trying to claim like I'm sure he's trying to distance himself from this as much as humanly possible, that he shot someone, because this was, never mind, it's October 11th. I don't think he's posted anything since he shot a reporter. And neither would I. I would take a break and wait for the entire fallout of all of this. Fucking great. All right, so that's the show for today. I'm going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to give you the updates. I am going to do... The alien interview is... I love this stuff. I love aliens. I believe in extraterrestrials and UFOs and all that. This interview, I'm going to wait until maybe Friday's show with the shitbag roundup, and we'll do the guy who apparently can channel an alien and then have a conversation with people as if the alien is talking to them. So... We'll eventually get to that, but I'm not going to do it right now. Thanks to everybody that likes and participates in the show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the show and support us. I'll read super chats on YouTube, and I'll read rants on Rumble live. And I hope you're all willing to buy me a coffee or support the show as some of these other people do, because I'm really trying to put more into this, more money invested into this, and any of the support I can get from everyone is greatly appreciated. But please, if you're not willing to do that or things are tight, please subscribe to the show and help me get more listeners and help me get up there. All right. This was Wednesday's show, Wednesday the 23rd. Thanks, and I'll be back again with you real soon. I did the shitbag roundup on the weekend, but I'll if we've got more crazy stuff going on, I'll be back on either Thursday or Friday. All right. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.